Okay, welcome. Guys, I just want to give you some of the topics that you should focus on as you prepare yourselves for this exam, which is starting next week. So let's start with grade 10 topics. So I'm recommending, so you can go through a good number of topics, revise all the topics that we've covered from grade 10 up to grade 12. But I just want to give you a hint on what I feel you should focus so much on. So let's look at linear motion. So when you talk about linear motion, please, you should know what acceleration is, velocity is, speed, distance, and displacement. You should know what the difference between velocity and speed, the difference between distance and displacement. Okay, on top of that, you should also look at how to sketch graphs. We have velocity time graph. We also have some other types of graphs. So you should be able to answer questions based on those types of graphs. They will also ask you to calculate the displacement or the distance under the graph. Make sure that you remember the area of a certain shape that has been formed under that same graph that you've been given. For example, the area of a square gives you the distance of the distance under that same graph. The area of a rectangle so gives you the distance, also the area of a trapezium. So you should be able to remember the formula for calculating the area of a trapezium, rectangle, as well as the square, and of course the triangle. So I think those are the most important thing that you should look at, you should go through for grade 10s, and also not to forget to mention the measurement instruments like the micrometer, screw gauge. You should be able to label the micrometer, screw gauge, and also give the functions of each part. And you should also, most importantly, be able to give a reading for the micrometer, screw gauge. That is very important. Vernier calipers, you should do the same. Make sure you know how to give a reading for the vernier calipers. Okay, so that is for the grade 10, and so many different things I should look through. So let's also look at the grade 11. So what should we focus on for grade 11 work? Grade 11 work, I would encourage first of you to pay attention to kinetic theory of matter. Kinetic theory of matter, very important. What does it state? Look at the gas laws, different types of gas laws, and how to state those gas laws. Those things are very important. After looking at the gas laws, let's look at the thermal expansion. Thermal expansion becomes very important. They like bringing those questions on thermal expansion. They'll ask you to define thermal expansion. They'll also ask you to, they'll ask you questions on the expansion of different types of solids, and also you can also put your focus on thermometers, types of thermometers. They like also bringing those things a lot. Okay. Under grade 11, you can also look at the waves. You should be able to know how to calculate the speed of a wave. You should be able to look at the frequency of a wave, the units, and also the wavelength. Okay, how to be able to differentiate between a longitudinal wave and a transverse wave. Those things are very important, and of course, what a wave is. Yeah. So after you look at that, you can also come and look at sound. Okay, so look at sound, the speed of sound. Should be also able to look at echo sound, and how to calculate the distance of echo sound, and also of course the speed, that formula for echo, for calculating maybe the speed or anything that they'll ask you about echo sound. So please pay attention to that. Let's go to light. Very important. Light becomes very important. It's one of the questions, most of the questions I've seen on light, they're very good questions. So you should just be able to go through and make sure that you understand what the whole topic of light. should be able to understand critical angle and what it is, because they can ask you to define it, total internal reflection, all those things. Yeah, make sure you know them. Okay, so go to electricity and magnetism. Look at static electricity, very important. They bring it. After that, you can look at current, how to calculate for power, how to calculate for energy, and most importantly, how to draw circuit diagrams. They can ask you questions on that. They can also ask you on, transformers. What's a transformer? How to calculate the voltage and the current, how to calculate the efficiency of a transformer. Those things are very vital. Let's look at basic electronics. Also, basic electronics focus so much on thermionic emission and electrons. Okay, that drawing, you can find it there. And then you also look at atomic physics. Atomic physics becomes very important as well. Okay, so after looking at atomic physics, under there you can go down to radioactivity. What is radioactivity? Different types of radiations, alpha particle, gamma and beta, and also look at how to calculate the half-life. So if you can go through all these things that I've explained here, I think you are more than ready to write the exam and just pass. So just try to go through. This is just a recommendation. I'm not saying that this is what is coming in an exam, but this is what, the recommendation based on what I've seen coming in the previous exams. So I wish you all the best, and I pray for you that you're going to pass. Okay, thank you.